Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Brooke Shields is an American actress, model, and cultural icon whose career has spanned over 5 decades. Known for her striking beauty, intelligence, and adaptability, she has remained a prominent figure in Hollywood and fashion since childhood. Early life and rise to fame. Brooke Christa Shields was born on May 31, 1965, in New York City. She was the daughter of Teri Shields, an actress and model, and Frank Shields, a businessman. With her mother's encouragement, Brooke began modeling as an infant and quickly attracted attention for her photogenic presence. By the time she was 12, she had already become a household name. Her breakout role came in Louis Malle's controversial 1978 film Pretty Baby, in which she portrayed a child prostitute in early 20th century New Orleans. Despite the film's provocative subject matter, Shields' performance was widely acclaimed and marked her as a bold young talent. Modeling career. In the late 1970s and 1980s, Brooke Shields became one of the most famous fashion models in the world. She was known for her Calvin Klein jeans campaign, where the tagline, "You wanna know what comes between me and my Calvins?" Nothing became both iconic and provocative. This catapulted her to global superstardom, making her one of the most recognizable faces of her generation. She also graced the covers of major magazines such as Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. Acting career. After Pretty Baby, Shields continued to work in film, notably starring in The Blue Lagoon, 1980, and Endless Love, 1981. These roles cemented her image as a beautiful and daring actress, though they often overshadowed her acting skills. As she matured, she transitioned into television, where she found renewed success. From 1996 to 2000, she starred in the hit sitcom Suddenly Susan, which earned her 2 Golden Globe nominations. Shields also made appearances in popular series like Friends, That 70s Show, and Lipstick Jungle. In addition to screen work, she has performed on Broadway in productions such as Chicago, Cabaret, and Wonderful Town, showcasing her versatility as a performer. Personal life and later work. Brooke Shields attended Princeton University, graduating with a degree in French literature in 1987. A decision that underscored her desire to establish herself beyond the modeling and acting world. Her personal life also attracted media attention, including her marriage to tennis champion Andre Agassi, 1997 to 1999, and later to writer-producer Chris Henchy, with whom she has 2 daughters. She has been open about her struggles with postpartum depression, which she documented in her 2005 memoir Down Came the Rain. Shields' willingness to speak publicly about mental health helped reduce stigma around the subject and was praised for its candor. Legacy. Brooke Shields remains a multifaceted cultural figure. She is admired for her ability to reinvent herself, moving from child star to supermodel to respected actress and author. She has balanced Hollywood glamour with an academic and personal life that highlights resilience and intelligence. Today, she continues to act, write, and advocate for issues including women's health and mental wellness. Shields is not only remembered for her beauty and fame but also for her longevity and influence in entertainment, fashion, and culture. Brooke Shields. A life in the spotlight. Childhood and early modeling. Brooke Christa Shields was born on May 31, 1965, in Manhattan, New York City. Her mother, Teri Shields, was a determined and ambitious woman who managed Brooke's career from infancy, while her father, Frank Shields, came from a prominent family with ties to Italian nobility and Hollywood. At just 11 months old, Shields began her modeling career, appearing in an Ivory soap advertisement. Her mother believed she was destined for stardom and carefully guided her daughter's path. Brooke quickly became one of the most sought-after child models of the 1970s, appearing in print ads and magazines. Breakthrough in film. Pretty Baby, 1978. Her acting breakthrough came at age 12 in Louis Malle's Pretty Baby, the film, in which she played a child prostitute in New Orleans, was highly controversial due to its sexual themes and the young age of its star. Despite the controversy, Shields received praise for her performance and proved she had the emotional maturity to handle complex roles. This role would define much of her early career, an uneasy mix of precocious beauty and provocative storylines that placed her at the center of cultural debates about child stardom and exploitation. Teenage stardom. The Blue Lagoon and Endless Love. By the early 1980s, Brooke Shields had become a global teen sensation. At 14, she starred in The Blue Lagoon, 1980. A survival romance about two shipwrecked teens growing up in isolation on a tropical island. Though criticized for its sexual undertones, the film was a commercial success and turned her into a household name. In 1981, she starred in Franco Zeffirelli's Endless Love, another provocative film that pushed her image as both innocent and sensual. By this time, Shields was arguably the most famous teenager in the world. Calvin Klein campaign and modeling fame simultaneously, Shields' modeling career skyrocketed. In 1980, she became the face of Calvin Klein jeans in a campaign that sparked worldwide attention. The commercial line, "You wanna know what comes between me and my Calvins?" Nothing, was suggestive and controversial, but it cemented her as a cultural phenomenon. Throughout the 1980s, Shields graced the covers of Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Cosmopolitan, and became one of the youngest models ever to appear on the cover of Time. She embodied the era's fascination with beauty, fame, and controversy. Education at Princeton. Amidst her fame, Brooke Shields sought stability and normalcy. She enrolled at Princeton University in 1983 and graduated in 1987 with a bachelor's degree in French literature. While there, she distanced herself from the Hollywood spotlight, focused on academics, and worked on redefining her public image. Career rebound. Sitcom success and stage work. After Princeton, Shields returned to acting with mixed results, but her persistence paid off in the 1990s. She reinvented herself as a comedic actress and starred in the NBC sitcom Suddenly Susan, 1996 to 2000, which was a commercial hit and earned her 2 Golden Globe nominations. She also proved her versatility in theater, performing on Broadway in acclaimed productions like Chicago, as Roxy Hart, Cabaret, and Wonderful Town. Her stage work earned her respect as a serious performer. Personal life and memoirs. Shields' personal life often made headlines. She married tennis star Andre Agassi in 1997, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1999. In 2001, she married television writer-producer Chris Henchy, with whom she has 2 daughters. She has written several memoirs, including On Your Own, 1985. Down Came the Rain, 2005, which detailed her struggle with postpartum depression, and There Was a Little Girl, 2014, which explored her complicated relationship with her mother, Teri. Her openness about mental health and family struggles resonated with many readers. Later career and advocacy. In the 2000s and 2010s, Brooke Shields continued acting in television and film. She appeared in guest roles on Friends, That 70s Show, 2.5 Men, and Law and Order, SVU. She also starred in Lipstick Jungle, 2008-2009, a drama based on Candace Bushnell's novel. Outside of acting, Shields became an advocate for women's health, mental health awareness, and child protection in the entertainment industry. She has been vocal about the challenges of child stardom and has urged Hollywood to protect young actors from exploitation. Legacy and cultural impact. Brooke Shields' legacy is defined by her resilience and adaptability. She transitioned from controversial child star to supermodel, from sitcom darling to respected stage actress, while also carving out a reputation as an intelligent and outspoken advocate. Her career reflects the pressures and pitfalls of early fame, but also the possibility of reinvention. Shields remains a symbol of glamour, strength, and longevity in an industry that rarely allows child stars to thrive as adults. Brooke Shields. Beyond the spotlight, the child star debate. From her earliest work in Pretty Baby and the Blue Lagoon, Brooke Shields was at the center of cultural debates about childhood, sexuality, and fame. Critics argued that her mother, Teri Shields, exploited her youth to generate controversy, while others defended Brooke as a talented performer who was mature beyond her years. These debates became a touchstone in conversations about child exploitation in Hollywood. Shields herself, later in life, expressed mixed feelings about her early work, grateful for the opportunities but also aware of how the roles shaped her public image in ways she could not control. Influence on beauty and fashion. Brooke Shields' modeling career changed the fashion industry. Her thick eyebrows and natural beauty stood in stark contrast to the thinner, more polished looks that dominated the 1970s. She made bold brows fashionable decades before they became a mainstream trend again. Her Calvin Klein campaign in 1980 didn't just sell jeans, it redefined the relationship between fashion, sexuality, and celebrity. The provocative ads blurred the lines between innocence and sensuality, sparking controversy but also revolutionizing marketing strategies. Shields became a symbol of 1980s glamour and was often compared to earlier icons like Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly, though with a more modern, provocative edge. Academic and intellectual identity. Unlike many models and actresses, Shields prioritized her education. Attending Princeton University in the 1980s helped reshape her image, proving she was more than a pretty face. Her decision to pursue French literature signaled a desire to step outside the Hollywood machine and be taken seriously. This academic path distinguished her from many contemporaries and gave her the tools to reflect thoughtfully on her fame in later memoirs and interviews. Mental health advocacy. One of Shields' most significant cultural contributions has been her openness about postpartum depression. In her memoir Down Came the Rain, 2005, she shared her struggles after the birth of her daughter, helping destigmatize maternal mental health issues. This advocacy became even more prominent when actor Tom Cruise criticized her for using antidepressants, calling it irresponsible. Shields responded forcefully, defending the importance of medical treatment and sparking a national conversation about postpartum depression and psychiatry. Her courage in challenging a superstar like Cruise highlighted her willingness to use her platform for public good, not just personal fame. Reinvention through theater and television. Shields' transition to Broadway was another form of reinvention. She showed critics that she was not just a former model or child star but a disciplined performer who could hold her own on stage. Playing Roxy Hart in Chicago and Sally Bowles in Cabaret required both singing and dancing, challenges she embraced successfully. Her comedic timing on Suddenly Susan further reshaped her image, allowing her to laugh at herself and connect with audiences on a new level. Later career, voice work, guest appearances, and public life. In recent decades, Brooke Shields has continued to act in guest roles on television, including Law and Order, SVU, Jane the Virgin, and Murphy Brown. She has lent her voice to animated series and embraced social media to connect with younger generations. She has also remained active in philanthropy, supporting children's hospitals, women's health initiatives, and mental health awareness campaigns. Relationship with her mother. A central figure in Shields' life and career was her mother, Teri. As her manager, Teri played a major role in Brooke's success but was also criticized for pushing her daughter into adult-themed roles at a very young age. Their relationship was loving yet complicated, marked by tension over control, image, and independence. In her memoir There Was a Little Girl, 2014, Brooke Shields reflected candidly on this dynamic, portraying her mother as both her greatest supporter and a source of deep struggle. The book was praised for its honesty and emotional depth. Enduring legacy. Brooke Shields is more than a former child star. She represents resilience, reinvention, and the complexities of navigating fame from childhood into adulthood. For fashion, she became a style icon whose natural beauty redefined trends. For film and television, she embodied both controversy and comedic charm. For culture, she sparked conversations about exploitation, mental health, and women's empowerment. Today, she continues to inspire as a mother, advocate, performer, and survivor of Hollywood's most brutal spotlight. Her career trajectory, from controversial beginnings to respected maturity, stands as a rare example of longevity and grace in the entertainment industry. Brooke Shields. Cultural context and lasting influence. Surviving the child star trap. Hollywood is filled with tragic stories of child actors who struggled to transition into adulthood through scandal, addiction, or fading careers. Brooke Shields, however, belongs to a small group who managed to survive the pressures of early fame. Compared with Jodie Foster, both starred in controversial films, Taxi Driver for Foster, Pretty Baby for Shields. Foster was praised as a prodigy and intellectual, while Shields was often objectified for her looks. Over time, Foster became known as a serious director and Oscar-winning actress, while Shields leaned into modeling and comedy before proving herself as a versatile stage and screen performer. Compared with Drew Barrymore, also sexualized young, especially after E.T. stardom, fell into addiction before reinventing herself. Shields avoided scandal, in part because she had a strict mother who kept her under close watch, though at the cost of personal independence. Compared with Lindsay Lohan or Miley Cyrus, unlike these later child stars, Shields never embraced self-destruction or public rebellion. Instead, she carved a careful path of reinvention, relying on education, stage work, and comedy to reframe her image. This resilience set her apart. Shields became a case study in how a child star could transition successfully into adult life without being consumed by fame. The sexual innocence paradox. Brooke Shields' image in the late 1970s and 1980s embodied a strange contradiction. She was marketed as both innocent and sexual. Pretty Baby, Blue Lagoon, and Endless Love emphasized her youth and beauty in provocative ways. Calvin Klein's ad campaign played into this tension, provocative slogans tied to her wholesome, youthful look. This paradox sparked heated debates about childhood, beauty standards, and sexual exploitation in media. Shields herself later admitted that she didn't fully understand the implications of those roles and ads at the time. Yet, in retrospect, she became a symbol of Hollywood's blurred lines between art, commerce, and exploitation, a topic still relevant today with ongoing discussions about child actors and consent. Intellectual rebranding. In Princeton years, many assumed Brooke Shields was just another model actress whose fame came from looks, not talent. Attending Princeton University, 1983 to 1987, changed that perception. She studied French literature, wrote papers on Baudelaire, and deliberately kept a low profile. For Shields, college was both an escape from the Hollywood machine and a way to prove she was more than her image. Her time at Princeton gave her a confidence and depth that she later brought into her memoirs. public speaking, and stage work. Few former child stars could claim such a successful intellectual rebranding. Mental health advocacy and the Tom Cruise feud. One of Shields' defining cultural moments came in the mid-2000s. After publishing Down Came the Rain about her postpartum depression. Actor Tom Cruise, a vocal Scientologist, criticized her for taking antidepressants, calling it dangerous and unnecessary. Shields didn't back down. She defended her choices publicly and challenged Cruise on a national stage. Her response humanized the struggles of new mothers. She earned praise from medical professionals for bringing postpartum depression into mainstream conversation. The feud revealed a clash between Hollywood superstardom, Cruise, and real-world advocacy, Shields. Later, she reconciled with Cruise privately. But her willingness to fight for maternal mental health became part of her legacy. Later career, longevity and reinvention. In the 2000s to 2020s, Brooke Shields showed remarkable adaptability. Television, guest roles on Friends, That 70s Show, Law and Order, SVU, and Jane the Virgin. Stage, critically praised Broadway runs in Chicago and Cabaret. Writing, honest, personal memoirs that earned respect for their candor. Public persona, active on social media, she connects with younger fans while reflecting on her past. Rather than fade into nostalgia, Shields remains relevant, partly because she never relied on a single identity. She's been a child star, a model, a sitcom lead, a Broadway actress, a mother, and an advocate. Legacy. Brooke Shields' story is about endurance and transformation. She wasn't the most critically acclaimed actress of her generation, but she became something just as rare. A cultural figure who grew up under relentless scrutiny and emerged with grace, dignity, and influence. Her legacy includes challenging beauty norms with her natural, bold look, exposing child stardom's dangers while surviving them, opening dialogue on mental health, especially postpartum depression, redefining reinvention, from controversial child star to respected performer, intellectual, and advocate. Brooke Shields in the 2020s, reflection, reclamation, and reinvention. Pretty Baby, Brooke Shields 2023. In 2023, Hulu released the two-part documentary Pretty Baby, Brooke Shields. Directed by Lana Wilson, the series revisited Shields' early career, the controversies surrounding her childhood roles, and the ways the media objectified her from a young age. The documentary drew critical acclaim for its honesty and depth. Shields herself participated extensively, revisiting difficult topics such as her experience filming Pretty Baby at age 12, the sexualization she endured in Blue Lagoon and Calvin Klein ads, her complicated relationship with her mother, Teri, the broader culture of misogyny in Hollywood that shaped her career. The documentary not only reintroduced Shields to younger audiences but also reframed her story, from passive child star to a survivor who reclaimed her narrative. It positioned her as a voice for change in conversations about exploitation and women's autonomy in the entertainment industry. Voice of experience and advocacy. By the 2020s, Brooke Shields had fully embraced her role as an elder stateswoman of Hollywood, one who survived its darkest corners and could speak truth to them. She became a prominent speaker on issues such as mental health, continuing her advocacy around postpartum depression, child actor protection, calling for stronger safeguards in Hollywood, women's aging and beauty standards, challenging the idea that actresses lose value after their youth. Her openness about aging, discussing menopause, body changes, and reinvention, resonated strongly with women who grew up watching her. Shields shifted from symbol of youthful beauty to advocate for authenticity and resilience. Personal life in the 2020s. Still married to Chris Henchy, Shields embraced motherhood and family life while balancing a late career resurgence. She frequently shares family moments and personal reflections on social media, cultivating a warm, relatable image. Unlike many stars who retreat from the spotlight, Shields leaned into it on her own terms, appearing on podcasts, in interviews, and in high-profile fashion events, all while presenting herself as both glamorous and grounded. Recent work podcasting and media. Shields launched a podcast series, Now What?, with Brooke Shields, where she interviews celebrities and public figures about
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.